Hey, it's Nootsie, and today we're going to look at the spine, the spirit, and a yoga wheel, and just how intimately intertwined the spine and the spirit are, and then how we can use the yoga wheel in aiding us in transformation. And maybe you're just tired of the trauma and the drama and depression and illness and just not feeling that great in your body. Well, the spine and the spirit and the yoga wheel can really help. Or maybe you're like me. I've been on the path, it seems like my entire life, to try to find a way to stay on the path for transformation. And I'm 4 yoga wheels in, and I can tell you the 3 of them are really powerful in the journey of trying to evolve and trying to transform and trying to create the life that you love or the life that you want. And so please click the like and subscribe button and the notification bell, and we're going to get right into the spirit, the spine, and the yoga wheel. I think we can all agree then we have a spine and we have a spirit and we have a body that's animated with an energy field, or your spirit, if you will. And I love what Sadguru says about the spine. He says the spine is the axis of the universe. And he said, if you don't believe me, cut a few wires in your universe and see how well it works. Not very well. And so if you have watched any of my other videos, welcome back. And if not, I talk a lot about the central nervous system, which is the brain, the spine, and the nerves. And we download these programs and they get hardwired. And so we can think then of the brain as a receiver which influences all of the activities and orchestrates the activities of the body through the spinal cord. And then the spine, it starts in the brainstem, or the medulla oblongata. And I think there's a fun song in The Lion King about the medulla oblongata, and it runs all the way down to the sacrum. And if you have a healthy spine, you don't have problems with mobility or stiffness. You have flexion and extension, and you can just move with ease. And if you do have problems with your spine, it can cause things like brain fog, excessive headaches, tingling in your hands and feet. It can cause pain in your neck and your lower back and your hips and your knees. It will depress your immune system. Chronic headaches, excessive, I think I said brain fog. It literally will just affect how the body is able to receive the communication from the brain. And so we can think then of the central nervous system as really the superhighway of information throughout our physicality. So then we could think of that superhighway as a river as well, because it has the cerebrospinal fluid flowing through it, or the CSF. And what that does, it is the thing that cushions and protects the brain and the spinal cord from injury, but it really does some cool things that's great to know about because you can use it to your benefit. And you could think of it as the rinse cycle of the body, meaning that it bathes the brain, it brings nutrients to the brain and the spinal cord, and then it also gets rid of waste. So not only is it delivering the groceries, but it's picking up the garbage as well. And so if we don't have good flow of the cerebrospinal fluid, or the CSF, it can become stagnant. And when you have all of this neural activity in the brain, especially if you spend a lot of time in front of your devices, it can become stagnant, and it would be like not flushing your toilet in your house, and you're continuing to produce waste, but you're not getting rid of it. So this waste removal is really a biggie, and it's very, very helpful to know how to get the cerebrospinal fluid moving in the body, because we said spinal health then is not one where we have the CSF stagnant, but we have mobility and flexibility. And it's like the bandwidth of our body, or our central nervous system, becomes more roomy and open, and we can get better signals not only from the brain, but we can interface with our spirit and have a better signal from our spirit as well. Because really, we are that threefold cord. We're a mind, we're a body, and a spirit. And when we do something to one of those areas, it strengthens the other 2 as well. And a lot of you know that I've been on this awakening journey. And so I started on this journey of, looking at my central nervous system through learning some things from Dr. Joe. But what happens to me after I've had this awakening, if something really catches my eye or I get a download of information, I start doing this really deep dive into it. And if they give me a word picture, the more I dig, the more I have an understanding of what they're trying to show me. And so when something catches my eye, I am like on the hunt. So I want to tell you about Bruce Lee. What in the medulla oblongata? Why am I talking about Bruce Lee? Well, he really did catch my eye. I was looking at some quotes and I saw a picture of him and I was like, whoa, look at his intercostal muscles. So I would take a screenshot and I would, expand it and I would look at his intercostal muscles, which, in case you don't know, the intercostal muscles are the muscles between the rib cage that help form the chest wall and help in breathing, and his are humongous. I mean, literally, they're like that far apart. And I heard somebody say that it was because of all of the breath work and back bends and, training that he did. And I was like, I'm doing a lot of breath work. I'm doing a lot of flexibility training. Wonder why this is catching my eye. And so I had brought to my memory that saying that says, enlarge the place of your habitation, do not hold back and lengthen your cord. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went to look up the Hebrew words, and enlarge means to make room. Place of your habitation, that habitation word could mean tent or the sacred dwelling place of the Most High. And I don't care what religious text you read or what ancient teaching or what religion you believe in, they all talk about the body as being the temple. So in this sense, enlarge or make room in your body or the sacred place of the Most High. And then it said, don't hold back, but lengthen your cord. And I was like, I get it. I'm making room in my body with all of these things that I'm doing because my body is the temple. And I'm not going to hold back, and I'm going to lengthen my spinal cord. And I was like, whoa, I really get it, because what became very apparent to me is that the spinal cord is that super highway, and it is the thing that helps us interface with our energy body or our spirit or, the energy field and our physicality. It is that river that joins the two. It is the thing that joins the energy body with the physical body. It is the merging or the connection point between the two. And so we can use our spine then to create a bigger bandwidth or to be a brighter signal. And I think, when I had the actual awakening experience, and I've had subsequent things after that, but that would be the one thing that I would say. Not only was it like the day of Pentecost on the inside, but I felt like I had so much more room, that I wasn't contracted anymore. And so, since I've been doing all of this yoga wheel and central nervous system study and working with my spine and doing breath work, I think what I would like to say about it is it really helps embody your soul's essence in your physical body when you begin to use these tools. And we can use our central nervous system and our spine to connect to our spirit. And it is a choice whether we want to or not. And my husband and I had this really great conversation about it. We can choose to just live a biological existence where we are just habituated and we go to work every day and we come home, we do a few things and we watch some TV and we go to bed. But I would imagine the very fact that you're watching this video, that you want to have a life where you're embodying your soul or your spirit's essence. And that, we all, I believe, have at times where our soul is urging us. And the thing about it is you cannot be in contraction and growth at the same time. And so, if we can begin to use our spine and our central nervous system to connect to the void, to connect to our energy body, to connect to source, to connect to the Almighty, to create room and increase our bandwidth so we can be a better signal. On the subject of contraction and growth, and how we can't really be contracted and in fight, flight, or freeze mode and growth at the same time. For me, in my life and everything that I've studied and experienced, I really come back to what Louise Hayes talks about, and what the saying in Proverbs is, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And if we can tune in to what's happening in our physical body, a lot of times that'll give us clues to where, maybe there's some adjustments that we can make. And, if you have a lot of rigidness in your body, for me, I realized that I had a lot of rigidity in my life. And, just because of bad choice making on my part and circumstances that I found myself in, and trauma in my family of origin, I was in fight, flight, or freeze mode. And, I had to have a certain amount of rigidity just to provide safety for myself. And, as I've wanted to evolve and to make better choices and to create the life that I love, and, to have true transformation, to really be able to live my soul's purpose and embody my soul's essence in my physical body and in my spirit and in my mind and in my central nervous system, I had to look at, the rigidity of my body and kind of follow the roots back to maybe there was some rigidity in my life. So I'm not saying that is the case for you, but it's always a good exercise to take a look at, what are the signals? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So sometimes in our effort to protect ourselves when we're drinking from a fire hose, when we have all this drama and trauma, we have to I don't like this and I don't like that and I'm afraid of this and this causes me pain. But if you want to evolve past that, creating mobility and flexibility in your physical body is really important. And this little yoga wheel has been really valuable for me. And like I said, I'm 4 yoga wheels in, and I want to tell you exactly why I think this is such a good tool. Not only, is it a safer way to do back bends than, as a 57-year-old woman to start doing back bends, it is a safe way to lengthen your spinal cord. And this is the one I really like. I think it's called Chirp. It has a canal down the center of it, and I'll post where you can get it. But you line this up with your spine, and it's a very gentle way to bring flexibility and mobility back into your spine, and it takes actually pressure off of your discs. And the first time I did it, even though I'm a pretty physical person, it sounded like fireworks going off, like bah, 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 as I was rolling it up and down my spine without causing injury. But you should always consult your physician before you begin any kind of exercise program. But it actually helps provide extension and flexion in a safe way for our superhighway or our spinal cord. And then it gently massages that CSF, or that cerebrospinal fluid, which what we said delivers the nutrients and gets rid of the garbage. So you're actually helping that cerebrospinal fluid move from the brainstem, all the way down to the sacrum. And it's a really great way if you have a tendency to hunch like I do, because I drive so much, or I'm sitting at a desk doing computer work. And so, if you look at somebody who's all hunched over, you would think that they are in a contracted state. And probably in a lot of ways, that is a good signal. If you're sitting like this, you are in somewhat of a state of contraction. So by rolling on this yoga wheel, you're opening up the chest cavity, you're opening up the rib cage, you're opening up the intercostals, you're lengthening the spinal cord, you're enlarging the place of your habitation in a very gentle way. And I love the book about breaking the habit of being yourself, or becoming unhabituated, by Dr. Joe Dispenza, because we have to do something different in our life if we want a different outcome. And if you're not putting your, head below your heart in a backward motion, it's a great, easy way to become unhabituated, to do something different so you can have something different in your life. But what it really does is it stimulates the fascia and the connective tissue of the body. And the only way to stimulate fascia, I don't know if you've ever had plantar fasciitis or had a fascia injury, it is super painful. And the only way to get that to release is through tension and pressure. And so what this yoga wheel does is it massages, it provides tension and pressure so you can get a release in that fascia. And fascia tissue is supposed to be slippery and able to move easily. And what happens is when it isn't, it becomes gummy and thick. And then when we try to move, it's like, we can't move because it's really thick and stiff. And so just to give you a word picture, if you can imagine like a stuffed sausage, the fascia is the outer casing of that sausage, and it becomes adhered to the muscles. When it's supposed to be smooth and slippery, it becomes thick and gummy. And so this yoga wheel will really help open up your chest muscles, open up your rib cage, and it will massage that spine. And so it's really great. And I think if you can do it with intention, don't just do it like I'm gonna massage my spine, but get on this yoga wheel and like, I'm gonna open up my heart center. Like I'm gonna open up my superhighway. I'm gonna open up my, universe and the axis of my universe so I can have a broader bandwidth. I can be a better signal. I can have a better interface with the design. I can be that river that has a great connection between my physical body and my spiritual body. I'm not going to be rigid. I'm not going to be in contraction. I'm going to be in expansion and growth. So if you don't have a yoga wheel, I'm going to show you how to do a yoga spine roll, and then I'm going to show you real quickly how to use this yoga wheel, and I will link below if you want to buy. I have two different kinds. I have the chirp one and then another one. And so let's get right into the spinal rolls and how to use a yoga wheel. So if you're anything like me, you wouldn't want to wait to buy a yoga wheel. You'd want to start massaging your central nervous system and your CSF and do all the things that are so helpful to the body right now. So I'm going to show you what they call a yoga spinal roll. And again, make sure you consult your physician before you begin anything like this, but you want to start with your feet at least shoulder distance apart, and you can go ahead and grab your knees and then push your knees into your hands, and then so you kind of have tension, so your arms are kind of locked, and then you're just going to roll back and roll forward. And if you have a bad back, you'll want to just start out really slow, and then as you do these, you can start going a little bit farther with your movement. But I usually also do a few of these right after I get off my yoga wheel, because I feel like you're kind of rounding instead of expanding on the yoga wheel. And so you're going to touch your toes, and then you're going to roll. And then as you get a little bit more comfortable and more flexible, you can touch your feet behind. But you could do this for 2 to 3 minutes and just start out really slow. And you'll be surprised how much you're going to adjust your own back. And then this one is my chirp wheel, and this is the biggest one. This is a really good one to start out with. It's very, very gentle. Like I was telling you, it has the little canal down the center that you line up with your spine. And so you're going to start with it low on your back, and then I would start with your hands beside you, and then you're just going to lean back into it just to see how it feels. And you can even just stay right here for a minute. And then what you're going to do is you're going to press your weight into your feet, and you're going to lift up your hip, and then you're going to roll it down your back. If you have a bad neck, I would keep your head up, and then you're going to come back down. And you're just going to do this. And what I like to do is I like to pause at the top of it. And if you need a little stability, if you feel comfortable, you can hang on to it as you're just starting. But you're going to stay right here, and if you want, you can just stay right here. And if your neck allows, you can go ahead and relax back and then bring it down. And you can start with it lower, or you can start with it higher. just start out with 30 seconds, work up to 3 to 5 minutes. You'll be amazed at how much it opens up your chest cavity and massages your spine. And then once you get a little more comfortable with it, if you really want to open up your chest cavity, you can take your arms out to the side and just stay here and just allow the counterbalance and the counter force of the weight of your body to open up your chest. If you feel comfortable, you can take them above your head and roll. It's great strengthening your neck. And then take it up. And then really great thing to do is you can do some breath work while you're doing this. So you want to close your mouth. You want to breathe in and out of your nose. Get that nitric oxide breath, but you're bringing such good blood flow to your brain and you're massaging your spine. So breathe in and out of your nose. And exhale. And so then after you do that, if you have a yoga wheel, then you can go right into doing your spinal rolls. And you're kind of counteracting the openness of your chest. And really, that's all there is to it. You know how they say, the little foxes spoil the vine? It's really the little things that we do that can really tend to our body. So that's about it for the yoga wheel. Thank you so much for joining me. I do have the 3 chirp wheels and I use the small one, like if I'm sitting at my desk, it's a good way to keep you upright. And I also use this one, which is up circle 7, but I think I use the chirp wheels the most, and I'm gonna definitely show you where you can get all of them. But I so appreciate your time. I would love to hear from you if you're gonna try these or if you're doing something now that you think really works. Please connect. But until next time, be blessed.